This is John Forrest, 16-time Funny Car champion. And I'm here with American Hot Rod Entertainment. And if you want to be entertained, this is the show, and Darren is the guy to do it.
Man, I'll tell you what about these West Coast races. It feels like they just blasted off the Top Fuel Final from Phoenix. Quick turnaround. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of Inside the NHRA here on American Hot Rod Entertainment and Competition Plus here for 2023 Phoenix edition as we break down the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals, possibly the final race from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. As always, I'm your host, Darren Williams Jr., and joining me, the man, the myth, the legend, as always, Mr. Dave W. How's it going, Dave?
Good. Nice to see everybody. Good race out in Phoenix. And like you say, it just feels like it was just wrapped up because of the late start that we get.
Yeah, for sure. And then joining us once again, he's back, Dujane Bland. My man, Dujane. How's it going, man?
Going great. Got some great racing, and like you said, it does feel like we got a quick turnaround here. It's like it seems like it just ended.
That's the thing about West Coast races. Like I said, when they end on the East Coast, we got a few hours to kind of upload, kind of chill a little bit before the 6 o'clock show start time. But here on the West Coast, they just wrapped up the Top Fuel Final, and we're live to break down, recap, bring you all the highlights, and go in depth of possibly the final NHRA Arizona Nationals from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. But before we get into it, like you guys all saw in the beginning of the intro, top alcohol dragster legend Bill Reichert passed just recently. Dave, I know you have more information on that.
Yeah, so sad news to wake up to this morning. Bill out of Owasso, Michigan, was 71 years old, passed away. Definitely one of the legends of the category. One of the forgotten legends. I mean, just because he hasn't been out there, he retired from full-time driving back in 2014, but that Rizlone car was definitely one to beat in the mid to late 2000s. He's the only 3-time U.S. Nationals winner and top alcohol dragster. He won 5 championships in a row from 2006 to 2010. So basically when Jimmy Johnson was going on his run in NASCAR, Bill Reichert was tearing it up in top alcohol dragster. He was top 5 in national points 10 years in a row. And that awesome 510 with a 3 at 284 miles an hour way back in 2007 stood as the ET record for 13 years and the mile an hour record for 8 years. So number 2 all-time wins with 28, just behind Rick Sanos, and 54 divisional wins. Definitely one of the best to ever race in one of the alcohol dragster category.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember back in my day, you talk about mid to late 2010s, Bill Reichert, Dwayne Shields, Randy Meyer, all those guys going back and forth in top alcohol dragster. Missed those days, and condolences to the Reichert family. Like you said, Bill Reichert was a legend in top alcohol dragster and in the NHRA. But thank you guys all for joining us here today on the special edition of Inside the NHRA. We are breaking down possibly, like I said, the final NHRA Arizona Nationals from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. And Dujane, man, I'll tell you what, you were in Gainesville and the fans came out in droves. They showed up for that race, and the fans showed up here today here in Phoenix. Well, pretty much all weekend long.
They did. It's nice to see packed houses. I really hope that going to Pomona here, I really hope that this can continue. Tony talked about it. Right before the beginning of the season, the fans have to come out and support. We load this thing up, and we keep loading this thing up. Then we start seeing sponsors that we see in NASCAR coming over to the NHRA, and you know what that means. That means more cars and more of these guys who may not on 9 race and 8 race type deals can go and race the whole season.
Definitely. And so what a great race, And Cassandra Rose says, why do you keep saying possibly after 2023 Firebird is being demolished for a highway overpass? So, it's still up in the air. We don't know the official, it's most likely gone, but hey, there is a chance, they kept saying on the broadcast, we'll see what happens, but it most likely is gone. And, but Dave, a great race, like I said, out in Phoenix. Cameron Caruso gets her first career win in pro stock. And then 2 other guys, you talk about Justin Ashley and Robert Height, 2 drivers, 2 men who pretty much had the championship in their grasp late in the season last year, but, wasn't able to pull it out in the end, but they come up big today here in Phoenix.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, Robert goes back to back. He won Phoenix here last year. And like you say, Justin Ashley, both of them coming off of really dismal season openers in Gainesville. So they definitely hit their stride here, and we'll see if they can keep that momentum going next week in Pomona. And with their wins, definitely shook up the point standings too, moving their way up the ladder. So I know we're only 2 races in. It's really hard to say one way or the other how it's going to go, but definitely been a topsy-turvy first 2 races as far as result-wise.
Yeah, for sure. And Dujane, what's your thoughts on the racing we saw today here at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park?
It was solid. It was definitely better than qualifying. It seemed like, they just didn't take the track. They didn't take what the track was giving them early, and it seemed like when they came out, they were able to back that horsepower down. I was able to speak to a couple crew guys, and really, that's really what the problem was. It's a good problem to have, but, you got to really back the cars down when the air conditions were so great for them. So it was great racing today, though, despite really not knowing what we were going to get after we saw those 3 sessions of qualifying.
Yeah, for sure. And it seemed like it was still kind of tricky on that starting line, though, today. Even though we saw some great racing and these guys really did step up, it seemed like that starting line was a little bit tricky, especially in like the first 2 rounds of competition. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely tricky.
It seemed like it could be hit or miss. I mean, either you got it or you didn't, because there were cars that did make it down, but it was just a perfect storm. I did notice back a little bit in front of the burnout box. I don't know if you noticed on Saturday qualifying, part of the right lane started to come up right at one of the concrete seams, and they actually, for the pro stock cars, moved the water up a little bit further so they would drive past that to start their burnouts in. Don't know if that affected it. A lot of the nitro cars were kind of over to the right to burn out past it and not go in it and then come back. Some of the crew chiefs had mentioned that the track was not prepared the way that they expected. Alan Reinhart mentioned that this was the first time, the only time that we saw nitro cars on the track. Usually we have the preseason test in Phoenix, and usually Phoenix is out of the way by the time we get to end of February, not the end of March. So you got a little bit different weather. You got a little hotter track temperature than you used to deal with. Maybe not the same track prep. The crew chiefs were a little bit lost. And I hate to be the one to harp on it, but I will say that I think if you go back to 4 qualifying sessions, you give them 4 shots at the track and they get a handle on it a little bit sooner. You hate to have your prime time conditions on Friday night be your first shot and have so many cars have so much trouble the way that they did.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I agree with that a little bit, but the bottom line is you take what the track is giving you. And I don't know if 4 sessions would have changed anything. It seemed like these crew chiefs wanted to beat their head against the wall, continuing to do the same things over and over again as if they were going to get a different track. The way it was prepared was the way it was prepared. I'm really tired of hearing crew chiefs complain about, what are you tuning to? Are you really tuning to the conditions, or are you tuning to stick them? The bottom line is the track was the track. You tune to it and you get down the racetrack, and they just didn't do it. They didn't do it in qualifying, and they had no choice but to back it down and get it done or go to the trailer early.
For sure. But in the end, they still gave us great racing here on Sunday at the Arizona Nationals. Before we get into the highlights, like I said, thank you guys all for tuning into this special edition of Inside the NHRA. If you haven't already, make sure to like this show, share this show, let everybody know. Tell everybody, hey, before we get started, tell everybody, hey, we are recapping the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals, an amazing race out in Phoenix. And also, if you're watching on American Hot Rod Entertainment and you would like to, throw in a super chat if you like, $1, $5, whatever you like to give, whatever is appreciated. But Dave, you mentioned pro stock a second ago. You guys ready to kick this show off?
Yes, sir.
Sure are.
Let's kick this show off, you guys, with the gear jamming, door slamming, pro stock car. Hold on. Dave, is James Qualls in the live chat? Is he in the live chat? I'm looking for him. Where is he at?
I don't see him.
Cameron Caruso. Camry Caruso finally gets it done. First career national event win in pro stock car. How about Camry Caruso's performance today here, Dave?
Man, we talked about, I think it was on the last show, how we want this rivalry develop, between the girls, Camry leading up the KB team and Erica leading up the elite team. We're like, you just got to let it happen. And took 2 races with some KB Titan horsepower put together and KB tuning on the chassis to put that car in victory lane. But take nothing away from Camry, because her driving was on all weekend. Her reaction times throughout qualifying and eliminations carried over. She had the one little snafu in the accidental double bulb against Christian Quadra in the second round. But yeah, what a performance for that team. And does this send a statement for the rest of the year? Well, I don't know about all that, but it could be. You never know.
Dugenet, first career national event win in pro stock for Camry Caruso. Rookie of the year. This is their sophomore season. Second race with KB Titan, if she gets it done. How about Camry Caruso's performance here today here in Phoenix, man?
It shows her growth, really. She did a really good job last year. Had some opportunities and missed those opportunities, but that's growth. And she comes back in this season, gets her first win with 2 races in. That's pretty special. It says a lot about what their program is about over there, and they're right on par with all the other teams out there. And I think this continues, man. She's got a real good group of guys behind her.
For sure. And like you guys just saw the highlights of Camry Caruso's day here at Phoenix. She qualified in the number 8 position in the first round, took on Derek Kramer. Great car all day long, 656 with the 4 at 210 to take down Derek Kramer to move into the second round. And like Dave mentioned, a little bit of hiccup in that second round when she admitted accidentally, rode in a little too deep, put on both lights accidentally, and that timed out Christian Quadra, your number 1 qualifier in the second round. But in this semifinals, another great run, 656 with the 8 at 210 to take down Matt Harford on a hole shot. Matt Harford, hands down, had the best car in eliminations today here in pro stock car, as she moves into her second career pro stock final round. Remember, her first final was at Houston last season. And in the final round, she will take on Bo Butner. Bo Butner from the number 11 qualified position. Bo Butner took down the champ, Erica Enders, in round number 1 with a great 656 with a 5 to Erica's 656 with a 9. In round number 2, took down Fernando Quadra Jr. And then in the semifinals, took down Kyle Koreski, who gave it away with the red light. So it's KB Titan versus Elite in the final round at the Arizona Nationals. It's Bo Butner versus Camry Caruso. Let's take a look at that final round right now.
Camry on the left side, Bo on the right side. 1 run for the trophy, maybe the last one ever at the Arizona Nationals in pro stock. They're both green. They're both within 100. Who's got the faster race car? How about Camry Caruso's a national event winner? She goes 6:59. Bo goes 6:59. On the starting line, the difference was 1 hun. Advantage Camry. On the racetrack, the difference was 1 thou. Advantage Camry. Margin at the finish line, 11 thousandths of a second. And add Camry Caruso's name to the list of pro stock winners, to the list of female winners, and to the list of first-time winners here at Wild Horse. Starting line.
Camry, you told me ahead of this final that you've dreamed of this moment for such a long time. How does this real-life moment compare to that dream?
It's unbelievable. I'm so thankful and blessed, and all my sponsors and all my teammates, and it's just been such a great start of the season, and I'm so thankful. Thank you, guys.
How about that? First career national event win for Camry Caruso in pro stock car. Great win for her and her team. For Wright Trailers, Tequila Commissario, the whole. There you go. Power Built Tools.
That's right.
Man, Dave.
I'm building one of these cars. I started it last year. I still got to cut the hood scoop off of it, but I'm building a replica of one of her cars, a rookie car. But now I might just have to make it her first win car. But I will say this: she's got to start getting good at tracks that we're going back to. Houston and Phoenix, we ain't going back. She's been to the 2 final rounds on tracks that are coming off the schedule. So we got to learn to do good at the rest of the tracks, girl.
But how about it? Camry Caruso gets the win. But in that final round, taking on Bo Butner. Dugenet, Bo, a great day for Bo Butner. Really struggled last season, but first round took down Erica Enders, the champ, in the first round. Got through some really good competitors. Good day for Bo Butner.
He was 9-19 around win-loss record last year. Talked to Bo at the Gator Nationals, and despite what happened at the Gator Nationals, he had a solid car. The thing was really consistent all through qualifying, and it just continued to show here in Phoenix. I think it's going to be real tough this year. He put the Erica on the trailer early, so I really think that he's going to have a lot to say and going to be in a lot of semifinal and final rounds this season.
And then you mentioned Erica Enders. I mean, how about that? 2 consecutive first-round losses to start the season for Erica Enders. I mean, how about that? And if you go back to the World Series of Pro Mod, that's 3 consecutive first-round losses for her right there.
That's wild. It's drag racing, though, right? And the good thing about it is it's only 2 races in. So we're not even through the first quarter of the regular season yet.
Well, like I said the last show, she's just letting them get a head start. She'll be back.
Yeah.
You
right.
ain't counting her out. She's going to be out there. She's going to get her share of wins. But, props to the Elite Motorsports team and the 2 red cars ran first round. They ran heads up, made a best driver and best team win, and they let him run for it. And, it shows that they are not necessarily playing favorites over there. There's nobody that's got, everybody's got an equal chance to win and get down the track and go around. So props to them for doing that. And they'll be back.
Yeah, for sure. And I hate it for Matt Hartford because Matt Hartford had just a great car all day long. Like I said, in that first round, 6:55.2 tied low ET of the event with that run in the first round. And then in the second round was 300s better than the next best car. He ran another 6:55 in the second round. The next best car was Kyle Koreski with a 6:58 and just gave it up in the semifinals. Didn't give it up, but 037 light to Camry Caruso's 017. And she, just got out, outran her by 2,000 on the racetrack, but was not enough to overcome with the reaction time. So a tough break for Matt Hartford. And Kyle Koreski, another great car. He red lighted it away in the semifinals. So if things go a little differently, we could have a whole different final round here today in Phoenix. But in the end, Camry Caruso got the win.
Yeah, and I feel like it could end up being like how Top Fuel was last year. We could have a completely upside down pro stock season with different semifinalists, different finalists each week. I mean, Phoenix qualifying, 6:55 got you number 1, 6:57 got you in the bottom half of the field. So
yeah,
I mean it's tough out there. It's tight. You can win or lose it with your left foot. You can win or lose it in 60 feet. A lot of people lost it with their left foot this weekend. Troy Coughlin Jr. turned on win lights all year long. Takes the too fast, too tasty challenge, and then comes out first round, rematches it with Greg, and goes red and gives it away. Not to say that he was going to make it anyway, because the car did end up squaring a tire at 60 feet and he had to shut the thing down. But Pro Stock's definitely shaping up that it has a possibility, which again, it's early, to be one of those upside down seasons where winner's curse.
And I want to see, we always talk about Erica Gregg. That's always the conversation. Erica Gregg. I want to see Dallas Glenn. I want to see Kyle Koreski. I want to see Camry Caruso, the Quadra brothers, really step up, and Aaron Stanfield. I want to see these guys step up and really compete for a championship here in 2023. I mentioned the Quadra boys, Dujournay. The Quadra boys came to play here this weekend here in Phoenix. Christian Quadra, number 1 qualifier, the first Mexican-born to qualify number 1 in the NHRA. Made it to the second round. Obviously, like we saw what happened in that round number 2 matchup with Camry Caruso. But Fernando Quadra Jr., 008 in the first round, makes it to round number 2. These dudes came to play.
Yeah, he is something else out there. And they showed it in the first race of the season, too. I really like what they've done. They really have elevated their game in 2023. And like Dave W. said, I think this is going to be tough. I think we're going to see what we're seeing in Funny Car, Top Fuel, where you're not going to have the same winner too many times in a row, if at all. That's how tough it is. That's how close these cars are. And, it's going to make for really, really good racing all season long.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of those Quadra boys, how about the first number 1 qualifying position for a Ford?
Yeah.
In over 30 years.
How about that?
Since 1992, amazing. Columbus with Bob Glynn. Hey, maybe they'll break the win streak. Camaro, congratulations, Chevrolet. That was their 124th straight national event win for a Chevrolet Camaro. Longest streak ever, obviously, at 124. So hopefully these Fords get up in the mix here a little bit. Camry was the 72nd different winner in Pro Stock. So still a pretty elite group of drivers to a very short list to have won in that category. First win in their second final round. Her first round win came here last year, ironically, also against Christian Quadra. And that'll put our Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challengers going into Pomona. Camry Caruso, Matt Hartford, Bo Butner, and Kyle Koretsky going for that extra 3 points next weekend and a little bit of money. I forgot what the cash was, but good job to those guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you see it right here, Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge out of Pomona. Like Dave said, Cameron Caruso, Matt Hartford, and Kyle Koretsky, and Bo Butner. So before we put a lock on Pro Stock, I want to talk about one last driver. And let's start with you, Dujanay. Greg Anderson, 2 consecutive races where he's qualified 10th. It seems like a little down on power in qualifying, but still making it out the first round, still kind of going rounds in eliminations.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? He has I don't know whether he's behind or they're trying some new stuff, but yes, it does seem that he's a little bit down on power, but he's been coming out and he had some really good lights today that kept him in it and really got him going round. So he's still the same old Greg. He can light you up on the tree, even though he's a little down on power. And as we all know, that left foot is where it's at. It seems like it's where it's at in Pro Stock right now.
Anything to add to that, Dave?
026 and 011 on the tree. That second round was a real shocker because of the advantage that he got on the starting line. And then the car fell way off to a 664 to Kyle's 658. Did not expect Kyle to drive around him so bad based on their first round times because Greg didn't run too bad, too far off in the first round. So maybe they're taking a little bit different approach. Maybe they are down on power. Maybe they're just working on some things. They know that they ain't got to kill them in performance to go rounds. They just got to sneak up on it and be in the right place in the right time. Maybe they're trying to qualify mid-pack so that way they can, they can race cars that are closer in ET to them. But, I mean, there's really a hard play. I mean, in Pro Stock for, number 4 and 12, it can be 200ths apart. So it doesn't really matter where you end up in the field. I think it's just everybody's right on the edge right now, and it's going to be an exciting season.
For sure. Definitely Pro Stock put on a show today here at the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals. And if you guys been following the show for the past couple of years, you guys all know we do this more so at the end of the show. But this year we're going to do a little bit different. Dave, high performer of the race. Who is it, man?
This week's Chevrolet high performer of the race, Camry Caruso, with her first career win, second career final round. Comes back at Phoenix, second race with KB Titan team on the KB Titan team. New car for Power Built Tools, right trailers, Tequila Commissario, and puts one in the win column. I think the first of many.
Yes, sir. Camry Caruso is your high performer of the race here at the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals. And I keep saying possibly, but everybody in the live chat saying, no, it's gone. The final race at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. That's pretty sad to say. All the history there at Arizona and everything like that, man. That race really.
Even Alan on the PA kept saying maybe the last time. We've heard that the overpass got canceled. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they won't bulldoze the joint. Who knows?
I'm going to give a shout out to Cassandra Rose in the live chat. I mean, she is like, man, she is throwing them out there in the live chat. I really do appreciate you chiming in here tonight. She says, heck yeah, she's done amazing. And then the Mystic says, they all lost the edge. And then Monday Morning Racer, my man Lee Craft. Hello, inside the NHRA. What's up, Lee? He was out at Funny Car Chaos this past weekend doing great work out there. Shout out to my man Lee Craft. And then Carlos, he says, great show, guys. Alaska in the house. How about that? International show. This ain't just national. We're international.
That's dope.
International. Alaska's part of America, man.
Well, we had Puerto Rico last show, so that's what I'm saying. Oh, Puerto Rico is America too, right? So, yeah.
It's all good.
You forget Alaska is a part of America, though.
Yeah, it's out in no man's land.
My man Kellen, huge win for KB Titan, an amazing first win for Camry. Going to say she rattles off at least 2 more before the countdown starts. I cannot disagree with that. And then the visual guy says, Commissario, favorite Pro Stock. Got a lot of great comments here. Trying to get a few more before we move on. See what else we got here. The visual guy also goes on to say, I would have loved for Ron Capps to win in Funny Car. And that's a great segue because Funny Car is coming up in just a little bit. Briar Stars says, what's up, boys? What's up, Briar? Our man Briar in the live chat. And then also, we always know Drag Racing Central. He's in everybody's live chat. I want to give a shout out to Drag Racing Central as well. He says, Alaska's America. Yeah. You forget sometimes, right? Oh, here we go. Good day from Sydney, Australia. We're international, baby. How about that? We are international.
That's what's up.
Man,
we have
it's already
Puerto Rico
Monday
last
morning
show.
up there. That guy's waking up, having his coffee, looking at us. He's like, man.
So we've had Puerto Rico so far, Alaska, Australia, man. We are international here on Inside the NHRA. And like I said, if you guys haven't already, make sure to like this show, share this show, let everybody know we are breaking down the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals, the final race from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. So, pro stocks in the books. Dujanay, Dave, you guys ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
You bet.
Let's move on to the Floppers Nitro Funny Car. He may have lost the championship last year. Auto Club has maybe stepped back here in 2023. But Robert Hight and Jimmy Pratt, they're here to stay. Robert Hight gets the win here today here in Phoenix. 60-second career win for Robert Hight. He wins the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals. How about Robert Hight, Dave?
Man, he had the winning flavor today, didn't he? They
I like
figured out that track. They got that thing down. Struggled in qualifying. Had to run John Forrest first round, and they ran heads up. And man, from there, they attacked that track, low 390s, almost got low ET of the weekend there in semis, but put it down, 60-second career win, adds to his win list. You know, he had his rookie season in 2005. Aside from the year 2020, where they sat out most of the season, he has won 18 of his 19 seasons. So just those two races at the beginning of 2020 that he missed out on, but third Phoenix win. And he will forever be linked to Phoenix because not only did he win the potential last race, but 4.636 seconds in a quarter mile back in 2007. Robert Hight and Phoenix will forever go down in history with each other.
60-second career win for Robert Hight, Dujanay. And like Dave just said, 4.63 back in 2007, the quickest quarter mile ET in funny car history. But man, like I said, lost the championship last year, but comes back strong to start out 2023.
Yeah, he loves this place. He was 4-0 last year. Comes here 4-0 today. It just seemed like the track and Jimmy Prop started to get things together. They got it together quicker than some others. And when it was at its trickiest, they made it happen. So, really just kudos to them and the hard work that they put in, being that they didn't look good like others in qualifying as well. So, pretty good deal to come out and win that thing after not having much success in qualifying.
For sure. And like Alan mentioned a bunch of times, like whenever this team struggles in qualifying, they come back so strong in eliminations. Didn't even make a 3-second pass in qualifying, qualified 9th, but comes back and wins the race on Sunday. Call them the comeback kids in Nitro Funny Car. Let's now take a look at the highlights of Robert Hight's day here in Phoenix. Round number 1. It's the boss taking on the president. First round Nitro Funny Car. It's Robert Hight and it's John Forrest. And Robert Hight, great run in the first round. 391.1 at 325 miles per hour. As you see, the boss smokes the tires in the opening round. Then we move into round number 2. It's Bob versus Bob. It's Robert Hight versus Bob Tasca in a great drag race. Top end. Robert Hight's going to get the win. 3.936 at 330 miles an hour to Bob Tasca's 396 with a 36 at 321 as Robert Hight moves into the semifinals. Then it's Robert Hight and it's Chad Green. This will be a rematch of our Mission Foods Challenge in Pomona. Top end, another great race. Robert Hight gets the win. 3.900, 329. Low ET of race day to Chad Green's 395 of the 5 at 322 to move into the final round. But in the final, he's going to take on the reigning world champion, Ron Capps, who took it away from on the final day of the season last year in Pomona. Let's now take a look at Ron Capps' day here in Phoenix in the first round, taking on the new driver for Jim Dunn, Alex Laughlin. Ron Capps, solid in the first round, 3.912, 324 to move into round number 2. Then it's Ron Capps taking on Blake Alexander. As you see, Blake rolls through the beams, turns on the red light. Ron Capps, 3.982, gets a little close to the wall towards the finish line, but is able to hang on to move into the semifinals, 3.982 at 318. Then the semifinals, it's Ron Capps and it's Alexis DeJoria. Great weekend for Alexis, but she's not going to be able to get it done right here as Ron Capps, wire to wire, gets the job done. 3.930 at 322 to Alexis's 393 with a 5 at 323. Side by sides, 393s in that semifinal round. So it's number 1 and 2 in the championship last year is Robert Hight, Ron Capps. It's your final round at Phoenix. Let's take a look at that final round right now.
Oh, how about nice catch? They did not have the body latch down on the Napa car. Crewman runs out there and gets it taken care of. The crew chief in the right lane is from Tucson, Arizona. He'd love to keep that trophy in his home state. Robert and Jimmy feel differently. We're ready. Robert Hight wins at 393 at 328 miles an hour. You want to hear the craziest stat that you're going to hear all year long? In the last calendar year, only 3 times has Robert Hight not made a 3-second run in qualifying. Coming in here, he qualified at a 4:21. 3 times in the last year, Robert Hight has not made a 3-second run in qualifying. All 3 times he left with the trophy. Unbelievable Sunday comeback for Jimmy Prock and Thomas and all the guys down there in Flavor Pack shirts.
It wasn't the most flawless weekend for you guys, but you turned it around on race day. How fulfilling are the tough wins?
Oh, that's the ones you love. That's where you dig down, after qualifying, and you just never give up on that team. Ever give up. When you have Jimmy Prock and Nate and Thomas and this whole Flavor Pack team behind you, you just never give up. So I'm proud of these guys. If this is the last race in Phoenix, hey, we got the Wally. That's pretty cool. I got my first round of racing here that I won. But next weekend, we're going to be back with AAA and Cornwell later in the year. So good job to everybody on this Camaro team. Yes!
First win of the season for Robert Hight in the second race here in 2023. 62nd career win for Robert. And Dujanay, for Robert Hight, I was really curious. The great year he had last year, 8 wins. I mean, career year for him. Most he's ever won in a season, was so close to winning that championship. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's always hard to kind of repeat that the following season when you have such a great season. I mean, but for him to come out second race and already have a win in the bank, I mean, that's great for that team right there.
Yeah, it's huge. It gives them a big confidence boost, especially after what happened in Gainesville. It'll be able to go into Pomona with the win, a lot of momentum. It's perfect for them. It's crazy how they rattle off the wins. And like you said, it's tough to come back after winning 8 and then to come in to a season and try to repeat that is very difficult, especially with all the talent out there. But getting a win this early is huge for them. And you never can count them out from doing it again. That's for sure.
For sure. And so let's now move on to our semifinalists. Obviously, we know Ron Capps, strong car, final round here today. He's your reigning world champion. So I don't think we have to dwell too much on Ron. We know he's going to be a key player all season long. Let's now move on to Chad Green, Dave. Chad Green, 2 consecutive semifinal appearances to start off the year. Great start for that team, man.
I think it is too. And, Daniel Wilkerson said it best. He's like, I went up here and chickened out, backed the car up. He's like, the track, we thought it was going to take more. It wouldn't. We backed it down, made it through. And like Dujanay said, he was out there. He was racing the racetrack. And look what it got him. Not only good qualifying runs, but it got him down the track in eliminations. Got him another semifinal finish. Got him in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge in Pomona. And they are going to be a contender, I think, as the season goes on. This was one of those unusual events early in the year that you don't typically see. Phoenix with 120-degree track temperature. Mm-hmm. So this isn't like one of those normal Phoenix throwdown races where you just give it what you got. This could be a preview, and same thing with going to Pomona. We're going to Pomona in end of March, beginning of April, not in January, February. So you better have the handle on that track too. Going to Vegas, these races coming up, I think that they're tuning that car smart. Chad's doing some good driving, and they're going rounds.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You remember last year, just going back to Robert Hight for a second, remember Pomona was 380s all throughout qualifying and eliminations, came to Phoenix and backed that up, 380s all throughout qualifying and eliminations once again. I mean, yeah, totally different conditions last year than what we've seen here today, here in Phoenix. And so let's now take a look at the Mission Foods Challenge rematches for next weekend in Pomona. Like I said, Robert Hight will take on Chad Green and Alexis DeJoria will take on Ron Capps. So as we take a look at the ladder right there, Dujanay, anybody else on that ladder you kind of want to point out?
Terry Haddock. He didn't get out of first round, but they went down the track, made some runs in qualifying, and he was right there the whole entire time. That's what you want to see. And those guys deserve a lot of credit for coming out, running what what they can, not trying to do too much, not doing anything to oil the racetrack down or blowing up parts or whatever. It's awesome to see guys like that to come in and to really just go out there and give it their best with what they can do. And huge shout out to him for, being in that race. He very well easily could have just smoked the tires because he's going against a more, formidable opponent. And he knows he doesn't have the same budget as them. But he went out there and raced his race. And that's what I like to see. It's really awesome to see that.
For sure. Let's now take a look at some comments right now before we move on. Our buddy Hilljack Nitro Shack is in the comments. He says, "What's up, guys from Ohio? Cleaning up for the windstorm. Man, how about that? Stay safe out there, man, if you're ever having a windstorm." And then Ross says, "Cool, John Force Racing win." Yes, John Force Racing gets the win with Robert Height, 62nd career win for Robert Height. And then he says, "Force race like a champ as usual." Yes, sir. Drag Racing Central says, "Chad Green is my driver of the day. Definitely most impressive driver so far this season. Plus, Daniel Wilkerson is amazing." Caleb Allard says, "You guys kill everyone with the headphones on the music, man. It's so loud every time." Well, you could turn it down, Caleb. Just a suggestion. Just saying. And then Robert says, "No easy rounds for Robert." No, it was not. And Robert Height gets the win. So Dave, like I asked Dujanay, anybody else you kind of want to go over in Funny Car?
Alexis DeJoria.
Yeah,
I'll say that. Her start has been really cool. And it's really nice to see. They had a pretty, I think she was like below 500 in the first 2 or 3 races of the season last year, and come in this year. It seemed to have a really good handle on the race car. She's driving well. She seems to be very relaxed, and that's important. So I think they're going to be a problem for people this year.
All right. So we mentioned Alexis. Excuse me. You got it, Dave.
I was going to just add to it. Conversely, how about picking up the Mission Foods Challenge on Saturday?
Yeah.
Coming back and having to run J.R. Todd again first round. J.R. was struggling a little bit, figured it out, but so did Alexis. She stepped up with Chloe teed around and still beat him to the finish line. She's right now 4th in points. Height's got the lead, Hagen second, Caps, DeJoria, and Chad Green are all within 1 round of racing. So, it's early in the season. Obviously, everybody's going to be kind of packed together, and there's going to be big wholesale jumps. But to get that kind of a jump start to your season and carry that momentum is a big deal. And I think that Dell and the crew have got that car figured out. Alexis is doing some wicked driving, and I think that they're going to be a force.
For sure. So while we're talking about, the Mission Foods Challenge, we mentioned Alexis, we mentioned J.R. Todd. What did you guys think overall of the first Mission Foods Challenge here today here in Phoenix? Do you think kind of lived up to the hype? I liked how they really hyped it up beforehand with the video packages and announcing the driver with the theme music coming in. Just your thoughts, Dave, how it all played out here this weekend.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It provides a little bit of drama to qualifying, probably more so to the nitro cars than it does the pro stock cars, because you don't really if you blow the tires off at a pro stock car, you're going to push the clutch in, that's going to be the end of it. In a nitro car in qualifying, if it blitzes the tires, you're pulling the chutes and coasting. Now, if you're running a race, it gives them more incentive to pedal that thing and get it to the finish line in qualifying. So I think it could make it for some pretty dramatic and interesting racing. And also, it's very, very cool to see that there's, something extra for the Saturday crowd. Get to see a little bit of an eliminations going on. They get to see somebody take home a check and a trophy too, just like the Sunday crowd does.
All right, so now that we've got Dujanay on the show, because we've talked about this multiple times, and me and Dujanay have talked about this before. I like the Mission Foods Challenge, Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. I like the dynamic, like you said, of bringing a race within a race. I like when you have a race within a race, like kind of like the shootouts, the Skull Showdown, the Big Bud Shootout. How you have a race within qualifying. The only thing I did not agree with was giving championship bonus points for actually winning it, and you're not giving championship bonus points for winning actual races. But I know Dujanay, we've talked about it. You actually like the dynamic of giving championship bonus points for winning it.
I do, but I also do agree. If I win a race, I should get at least 5 bonus points. If you're giving points, because think about it. Let's say we have the same matchups throughout the first quarter of the regular season. And let's say the same person keeps winning. That's a lot of points, man. And yet I'm out here winning races and you can't give me a few bonus points. You know what I mean? I like I said, this thing is great. And it's something that I think fans have been calling for. Even media members have been calling for something to add to what we have that makes it interesting. The bottom line is, though, I like the points, but if you're going to do that, I agree with you. The winners need to be getting some type of bonus points too. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're winning and they don't have to go back. They're a part of this thing, but they won the race. So, I do agree with that, but I'm not going to be too critical. It's the first year of it. Let's see how it goes. And I'm sure next year, once they see how all of this plays out, they'll make some much needed adjustments.
Tim says, don't you get 10 extra points for winning a national event? No, there is no bonus points for winning a national event.
Well, he was saying versus the loser. No, it's 20 points per round.
20 points.
Yes, the runner-up gets 80 points. The winner gets 100 points. The point of the Mission Foods Challenge is you win 3 bonus points that don't add to your season total. They add to your countdown total in Indy. These points that you win in the Mission Foods Challenge has nothing to do until we get to the countdown. Then you start with that advantage added to your total. This has nothing to do at all with the regular season. These are all countdown critical races that count going towards the end of the year, which is something that we mentioned and the Gainesville show too, is the point of not only getting to the semifinal to put yourself in an opportunity to get those 3 points. You got guys like Robert Height, Ron Capps, didn't get a chance to race for him. You keep those guys locked out. So the second round on Sunday becomes even more important too, because if you can put those guys out, you lose, you take away their ability to pad their countdown points. But yes, I think like Dugenet said, let's give it a year. Let's see how it plays out. If we need to tweak it for next year, so be it. I think that the winner of the national event, if we're going to give countdown only points, give them 5. And if you win the Missions Foods Challenge next week, add another 3. And if you're just that good and you can win them both, then you deserve to have that big of a lead in the countdown when we do the points reset. So we'll see how it goes. And so far, so good. But we'll see right now, Doug Coletta and Alexis DeJoria and TJ Coughlin are leading the countdown. So they're going to be number 1 starting at the end of the year.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong. So if I'm Greg Anderson, if I'm J.R. Todd, who lost to Doug Coletta in the final round yesterday?
Mike Salinas.
Mike Salinas. If I'm Mike Salinas, I'm not mad with 2 bonus points other than the 3. I mean, it's just one less. I mean, I'm cool with that. If I
wait, the runner-up gets points too. I thought only the winner.
Yeah.
No, the runner-up gets 2, and the quickest semifinalist gets 1.
Oh, well, there you go. See, I missed that part too. I thought it was just 3 to win it.
So I'm even though I lost in the final round, I'm okay with getting 2 bonus points towards the countdown. They just add them up, so I can't complain about that. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
So it's basically, if you're looking at, it's rewarding going late rounds. So not only do you want to do it for yourself, but you also want to do it to keep the other guys out if you can. Like for example, this week, that huge second round matchup between the Roberts or the Bobs, however you want to call them, Height and Tasca. Height kept Tasca out of that challenge next week. Keeps some bonus points off them going into the countdown, So that's another way of looking at it. That's another dynamic. You're kind of like you're beating them twice when you come to the second round. To me, it makes the second round of eliminations that much more important too on Sunday.
Yeah. Tim says, what I agree with Dugenet is adding some bonus points per win after the countdown starts. For sure. And then, so it was not Mike Salinas. It was Steve Torrance, actually. You're right. Steve Torrance was in that final round on Saturday against Doug Coletta. It was Steve, Drag Racing Central, clearing us up right there. Hi, Jimmy. Jimmy says, hi, guys. What's up, Jimmy Ryan? Thanks for tuning in tonight. And then Nitro Maniac TV Drag File says, you could potentially have that person.
No, it was Coletta and Salinas. Steve Torrance blew the blower off against, Redlit again. He double stepped against Coletta in the semis.
Yeah.
That was not Steve Torrance. Steve Torrance Redlit away his qualifying chance too, which that's another thing they said, when they talked to Logana at the starting line, he's like, that's another dynamic, not only did we 2-step and lose the race, but we missed the qualifying run too, because he double stepped it and shut it off. So
you could potentially have the person that finishes the regular season in first start the countdown in second if the championship points are close enough. Yeah, that's another dynamic as well. So like you said, let's see how this all plays out. Very interesting. I like the dynamic to Saturday in its first year, and we'll see how it all plays out. It's gonna add a different dynamic to the countdown. I like it.
Definitely. And think about it. If let's say you have more than 16 cars and you're in this too fast, too tasty deal, and you didn't get down the racetrack, and now you gotta play do I play it safe, or do I go and try to win this Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty, and you decide that you're going to go after it, and you go up and smoke, and you don't make the 16 D and Q. Like, you know what I mean? There's going to be some dynamics when we get to have more than 16 cars that are going to play into those individuals when you're not getting down the racetrack and you're not qualified. You have a decision to make.
For sure. But in the end, in Nitro Funny Car, Robert Height gets the win, 62nd career win in Nitro Funny Car for Robert. And how about it? He goes to Pomona with the momentum. So Pro Stock is in the books, Funny Car is in the books. Let's now move on to our Lucas Oil Sportsman winners. Dave, why don't you read that off for us?
Sure. We got Competition Eliminator. A very, very sad turnout of about 5 cars to run the category, which was sad to see. But Bruno Massel of NHRA and Fox fame picks up the win. 17th win overall for Bruno, 15th in comp, ties the 4th most in the category. Top dragster went to Chad Exford. Stock eliminator Jody Lang in the station wagon. 23rd win in stock, second only to Dan Fletcher's 27. His 33rd win overall. Brad Burton takes super stock with a perfect light and a 2000s package at the finish line. That was a heck of a run and hard to be beat. Thomas Bayer wins in Super Comp, his 10th career win, second at Phoenix. You had Chris Bishop picking up the win in Super Gas, and Sammy Gonzalez picks up the win in Top Sportsman.
Congratulations to all of our Lucas Oil Sportsman winners out of the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals, the final race from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. They are giving it to me in the comments because I keep saying possibly. So they're handing it to me right now. I see you guys.
Breaking news: the bulldozers are rolling the wall. The reason the track started coming apart was somebody didn't get the memo. They started ripping it up during qualifying on the right lane. That's why they're pulling chunks of concrete out there. Like, whoa, wait, we got one more day. Then you can start tearing it up. So the track's gone. Nobody's ever coming back. It's done.
Houston, too. They're about to bulldoze Houston as well.
It's coming.
That's pretty
sad. They're putting them down. Just like the pictures of Atlanta when the bulldozers going through the tower. Coming through the tunnel, just ripping it down.
But thank you guys all for tuning into the special edition of Inside the NHRA. We are breaking down the final race from Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, the 2023 NHRA Arizona Nationals. Tim says, breaking news, Brad Burton and Jody Lang are good in stock and super stock on the West Coast. You are definitely correct about that. And then Jimmy says, I should race in Top Fuel and NHRA drag racing in 2024 or 2026. You guys should watch me on TV. How about that right there? So, Pro Stocks in the books, Nitro Funny Cars in the books. Yeah, I think you guys know what we're moving on to, right?
Jimmy Ryan, he just mentioned it. He's going to be there on only even number years. He ain't racing in 2025 or 2023, just 4 and 6.
Yeah, that was a great segue, Jimmy. That was a great segue.
Thank you,
DJ, you know what time it is?
Yes, sir.
Dave, do you know what time it is?
It's time for Top Fuel Dragster.
Bro, come on, man. Come on, really? If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
Show them how to do it, there.
I'll show you how to do it.
Go ahead.
Top Fuel Eliminator.
Sorry. Forgot to give the turn down your headphone warning before the music blasted.
Can you believe this? Justin Ashley had not won a round since Dallas last season. How about that? But he goes from the outhouse to the penthouse. He wins today here in Phoenix. 6th career win for Justin Ashley. Great win for Justin Dugenet.
Yeah, it was solid. They got it together on race day. He drives the car. We know how he is on the starting line, did his job. Mike Green did his job, and they were just able to get right on through the competition and get that Wally.
How about Justin Ashley's performance today here, Dave?
Oh, it's phenomenal. They picked up right where they need to. Like you mentioned, 6th career win. Ties him with a fellow alcohol and top fuel dragster driver who we lost far too soon, Darrell Russell, 36th on the all-time list. And, it is surprising they didn't have any round wins going through the end of last year, but or even at Gainesville the start of this season, but they are working on it. They got the handle back and got quicker every round. And I feel like you're going to see him string a couple together, perhaps.
Oh, for sure. This is a legit championship contending team right here, Justin Ashley. Like I said, kind of struggled at the end of the year last year. First round loss in Vegas. Had a pretty decent lead, I would say, going to Las Vegas, but wasn't able to hold on to it. Went out first round in Vegas, went out first round at Pomona. I was really curious to see how they would respond here in 2023. Not the weekend they would have liked in Gainesville, but they come back strong here in Phoenix. They were strong. Mike Green, Tommy DeLago, that whole Phillips Connect team. They came out. They ran some great ETs all throughout eliminations, and they got the win. And they put it together in that final round. That was a great final round against Sean Langdon. We're going to take a look at it in just a second. But let's now take a look at the highlights of Justin Ashley's day. It's Justin Ashley taking on the 8-time top field champion of the world, Tony Schumacher. Tony Schumacher is going to smoke the tires just before 3:30 as Justin Ashley gets the win, 3.741 at 3:29 to move into the second round. Then the second round, it's going to be huge because he's taking on Mike Salinas. Mike Salinas had Justin Ashley's number in Gainesville, beat him twice in the call-out and eliminations. But you talk about getting it done here, gets it done here in the second round. Revenge for Justin Ashley, 3.743 at 330 miles per hour to Mike Salinas, 375 to move to the semifinals. And then it's Justin Ashley taking on Steve Torrence. Watch the left-hand lane, though, for Steve Torrence. He is going to blow this thing up. It done blew up, but Justin Ashley in the right-hand lane gets the win, 3.740 at 327 to Steve Torrance's 374 to 3 at 305 miles per hour as Justin Ashley moves into another final round. And so in that final round, we'll take on Sean Langdon. Before you take a look at his highlights, though, Dave, good start for Coletta to start the year. You talk about Doug Coletta winning the call-out out in Gainesville, qualified number 1 here in Phoenix, and then Langdon going to the final round.
Yeah, it's a really good start for that team, I feel like. And they are learning with Doug's car being the canopy car and Sean still the open cockpit. So I don't think there's too much tune-up sharing between the two because of the extra weight and the way it's distributed. There's not a lot that kind of overlaps, but I mean, it's a great start. I mean, Sean makes his first final round since Denver last year. Doug, both races this year, he's had low ET of the meet. Brittany's had top speed, of course, but yeah, I mean, I think that was a big win for them on Saturday to take that Mission Foods Challenge, put a couple countdown points in their pocket. They did not make the same mistake. I think Dugenet was on the show last year, was he not, with Rob Patsy? They did not get out there. They did not make the same mistake first round. They backed it down to a 75, put it through there, got the round win. So, yes, I feel like that's a good start to the season.
Hey, Dugenet, the reason why I asked Dave first, because I'm going to get you in just a second. Before we do that, let's take a look at Sean Langdon's day here in Phoenix, taking on Antron Brown. If you remember in Gainesville, Antron beat Sean Langdon in the first round on a hole shot. But just like Justin Ashley and Mike Salinas, Sean Langdon gets revenge. He takes down Antron on a hole shot. Antron goes 3.702 at 332 to Sean Langdon's 371 to 6 at 331. Sean Langdon gets the win on a hole shot. And then round number 2, intramural battle. 2 Coletta Motorsports dragsters going at it. Doug Coletta smokes the tires. Then Langdon smokes the tires. Coletta tries to get to recover, but to no avail. Sean Langdon gets the win, 4 flat with a 7 at 318 miles per hour to move into the semifinals. Then it's Sean Langdon and Leah Pruitt. Always great when these two guys and girls come to the starting line. And what a great drag race this was right here. Top end, Sean Langdon gets the win, 3.719, 331 to Leah Pruitt's 376 with the 1 at 326. Kind of surprised. Leah Pruitt kind of fell off a little bit in that semifinal round. Allow Sean Langdon to get around in that semifinal round. So it's Justin Ashley, it's Sean Langdon, your final round in Phoenix.
Mike Green makes the final adjustment in the right lane. Kurt Elliott does the same in the left lane. And now 2 second-generation NHRA championship drag racers are going to battle it out. 1 run for the final trophy. Ashley, 3.705, 329 miles an hour. He saved his best run of the day for his last run of the day. Sean Langdon goes 373 at 329, and it was not enough. Justin, 052 on the tree, and 826 to 60 feet. He wasn't in deep, but he sure hit the gas on time. Congratulations to Phillips Connect, the entire team down there, Mike Green, Tommy DeLago, all the guys. After a very short day in Gainesville, they went the distance here at Wild Horse.
Justin, in the booth, they were just talking about how calm, cool, and collected you are, and we talked to you before this round, and you said nothing really rattles you at the starting line. How do you keep it all together up there?
Well, you know, you're only as good as the team that you surround yourself with, and we're a resilient group. We didn't have the weekend that we wanted in Gainesville, but we just regrouped. Mike Green, Tommy DeLago did a great job. We learned from last weekend, and we applied it. It's all about the team. You know, it was just a great day. There's only one last race in Arizona, and the fans were fantastic all weekend long. We are so happy for everybody at Phillips Connect, Toyota, National Debt Relief, Cotto, Mac Tools, Lucas, the list goes on and on. This is because of them, because of our partners, and we love, love, love to win.
Congratulations to Justin Ashley and the whole Phillips Connect team, Mike Green, Tommy DeLago. Before we move on, though, where's the comment at? He says, Hill Jack Nitro Shack says, what was Torrance so angry about after his explosion? Does anybody know? I mean, that was kind of I wasn't quite sure.
I don't really know. My assumption was, I think the safety safari was probably telling him that maybe he should have slowed down instead of bringing it all the way in, because I believe he left some oil on the racetrack, and there may be some bickering about that, but I'm just assuming at this point.
Mm-hmm. And also, so when Steve Torrance took down Austin Prock in that second round matchup, he beat him by 0.007 of a second, 007. Torrance, Steve Torrance. I wanted to do that, so I had to get that out of the way.
Torrance could have just been mad because that's 2 days in a row he turned around and saw the top half of his engine missing, and that costs a lot of money.
You're darn right.
So
yeah, for sure.
That's also a possibility. Interesting to note that as you look at the guys' runs throughout the day, uncharacteristic of Sean Langdon, first round, he picks up his first win of the day on a hole shot, 0.46 to Antron's 0.66, and puts him out. And that was a big monster matchup for him. But as his day went on, he actually got slower on the tree, 68, 81, and an 82 in the final. Whereas Justin Ashley was 51 first round, 39, 35, and then 52 again in the finals. So if your worst light of the day is a 52 and your worst run of the day is a 74, you don't give him much of a window to go in there and beat you. So they definitely had the car hooked up. Justin was doing his job on the tree. And yes, he definitely got revenge on Salinas after Gainesville. So it was pretty cool to see that Justin came to rise to the occasion when he needs to, and man, can that kid cut a light.
Mm-hmm. So, like we mentioned just before we watched that Top Fuel final, Dujournay was on this show last season and really laid into Coletta Motorsports, Alan Johnson, Doug Coletta, and so Dujournay, the floor is yours.
So let's go over some numbers from last year. Their first couple races of the season, they qualified in low 70s. They even had they had a 65 here in Phoenix last year. So they had at least a couple 60s. When I saw that matchup against Rob Passy, I'm telling you, if they don't go out there, and I think I even texted you that, a 75, 76, go down the racetrack against a lesser opponent and just get it done. Don't go out here and try to prove something to somebody and smoke the tires when you didn't have to. And that's what should have happened last year. So, AJ, I give you a round of applause for doing what you needed to do to get the round win. Are they back? I'm tired of hearing about are they back. Let's wait till the first quarter of the season is over with first before we make an assessment. We're in 2 races. Because like I said before, they didn't qualify bad in the first 2 races of the season. When it came down to race day, though, it just seemed like they were all the way out in left field and had forgotten what had gotten them there on Sunday. So, kudos to the team. It looks more consistent, like I said before, and I've said it on my podcast. Alan Johnson has his system that he likes And there's nothing wrong with that. We talk about coaches in football, having quarterbacks that fit their West Coast or run and shoot or whatever you have. And he has his system now, so there's no excuses. And right now, this car is running really well. I'm not surprised about Sean Langdon, though. They were a little bit off. I don't even know why that would have been last year, but I knew they would get that car back together. It's nice to see Doug have a winning car underneath of him. We already know what he's capable of as a driver. His tuner has just got to do the right thing for him so he can go out and get those round wins.
For sure. And in the comments, Everything Nitro, Andrew Morales says, D Bland is the man. So showing some love to the man, Dujanay Bland. And then also, where is it at? Another one talking about Steve Torrance. Oh, Tim says, Steve's issue in the semis was identical to Q3. A piece of that injector on Saturday landed about 10 inches from me. So definitely some big boomers for Steve Torrance in Phoenix. And so let's now take a look at what the Mission Foods Challenge will look like in Pomona. And I got to say this too, before we move on, packed grandstands in Gainesville, packed grandstands in Phoenix. Everybody, if you're from Southern California watching this, please, let's pack Pomona this weekend. Let's show everybody we're the birthplace of drag racing. This is where drag racing lives. This is where drag racing started. Let's pack this place. In-N-Out Burger drag strip, third race of the season, sunny Southern California. The rain is gone. Let's pack Pomona next weekend. Let's do it.
They should have been touting it's going to be the last Winter Nationals.
Yeah, because it is.
We're closing that baby down.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We'll see it if you don't want to lose it.
For sure. But let's hashtag Pack Pomona next weekend, the In-N-Out Burger drag strip. So we have Sean Langdon, Leah Pruitt, and Justin Ashley and Steve Torrance will be our Too Fast, Too Tasty Mission Foods Challenge out of the Winter Nationals. It's all we just saw right there. Dave, anybody else you want to pinpoint?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people. How about
Crystal Baldwin? I mean, man, we got to start with her.
Crystal Baldwin, career best speed. She run her second and third best ETs. Mid 380s, gets down the track. This track seemed to play into the tuners who don't have the power but can manage what they've got and get it down the track. Yeah. So the top echelon kind of came back into their hands a little bit with Terry Haddock, with Krista Baldwin. Feel bad for Buddy Hull. Was not able to make the first round run because of the fuel leak. Don't know if he'd had anything for Leah's 372, but Krista, great run, just happened to come against Steve Torrance. Tony Schumacher looked like he was coming back after the last run of qualifying, but unfortunately ended up against Justin Ashley when they got that figured out. Rob Passia, we mentioned. Clay Milliken's struggles were a little bit of a surprise to me, as well as Josh Hart's. I was surprised that both of them had the troubles that they did. Josh never really I don't think he ever made a clean run down the track now that I look at it. An up and smoke pass in the first round. I think maybe they might have backed it down enough in the last qualifying session. Let me see where he ended up in the sheets here. 386. So when you look at a team like that, that's got 4 shots down the racetrack that everybody else does, and their best shot's at 386. I mean, Krista Baldwin made 2 passes in the 84s that are quicker than the best they did. So that's to me, that's struggling. So I hope they get it turned back around for Pomona.
Yeah, I just think this track just bit the tuners this time. They didn't really make the adjustments necessary when they had to in qualifying. And then you come out on race day and you don't have anything, and you're making horsepower, and you're guessing at this point, especially earlier in the day, the kind of the same conditions I believe they had on Friday. So it's just a matter of if they had taken what the track had given them after Q1, we might have seen some guys go a little bit further. And like you said, the people who don't have the horsepower but know how to work what they had really did an excellent job of getting their cars down the racetrack, given the track conditions.
Yeah, just say it again. End of March Phoenix is not the same as end of February Phoenix. I mean, you almost would have to look back to your notes from 2011 if you were a crew chief or running cars down the track then, when they ran this deal back in October with warmer weather and a hotter track temp. It's kind of akin to that race to me.
Yeah. 2 guys I want to give a quick shout out to. Obviously, Buddy Hall. I just want to say that, when I put my face in the car, they blow up, but then they blow up without my face in the car either. But I want to give a shout out to my buddy Buddy Hall. Unfortunately, the 2-step in the first round. I know he went but just great to see that team, what they're doing, the sponsorship they're bringing, and bringing over Mike Guger, a step up in their program. So looking forward to a lot of great success for Buddy Hall in 2023, and also Jim Maroney. Another great guy. We saw him out at the March meet a couple weeks ago driving Jim Broom's Speed Sport. Unfortunately, had that fuel leak in the first round. He saw all the fuel just hitting the tires, and obviously that's not safe.
That's right. Did I say Buddy Hall? I think I got him backwards. I meant Jim Maroney with the fuel leak, and then Buddy with the double step. That's right.
Yeah.
One of their crew members just passed also, and I know they really want to, give a great tribute to him in the final race here at Phoenix. So tough break for that team. But just want to give a shout out to Jim Maroney and Buddy Hall. Great interview, by the way, with Buddy Hall.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, great interview with Buddy Hall, Dujanay. Also, just want to say that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Whole yeah. Or you do it better. Say it. You do it better.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
He ain't won anything yet, but don't look now. Your points leader, Steve Torrance, got 11 up on Mike Salinas.
Just consistent, man. Just consistent.
Just consistent. Well, I mean, if you give Mike his points that they took back from at Gainesville, it'd still be him.
All right, great segues. So I want to get your opinion on it first, Dujanay. Weightgate. What you think about it?
First, I'm going to go after the NHRA. I'm really tired of the vague statements. If there was a problem, then tell us all of the problem, because we as the media also have to report on it. And then we have this we play coy with the fans on whether we can say it and whether it's true or not, because people are afraid of hurt feelings. Look, you either made an infraction or you didn't. And then tell us what the infraction is, because we don't have to guess in NASCAR what's going on. They let you know straight up what happened. It didn't pass inspection because of X, Y, Z. We need to be more transparent. That's all I'm saying. And it seems to me that there was a mistake between two, because he said the car was going to weigh the same as it did in Gainesville here. So maybe we hear something about that later, but at the end of the day, whose fault really is it then? And again, here we are having this discussion when we shouldn't have to have this discussion. It should be posted on NHRA.com, or somebody should have this information. We should have this information. We should be able to report on this information with no guesswork. But yet we want to play. You want to be big boys, and you want to be big time with the sport and be with the rest of the racing, sanctions. You got to tell us what's going on, and you got to give us all of it, not that vague statement of failing a weight inspection and not tell us how much and what the heck's going on. That's all I'm saying. I'm tired of the guesswork.
Can I play devil's advocate just for 1 second? And I'm not on any side, so I just want to play devil's advocate for the conversation. With Mike Salinas on WFO Radio, I mean, he was pretty vague himself also. Absolutely.
I'm going at him as well. I mean, what is the issue? You know what I mean? We act like we got lawyers and we're going across in front of a judge, and I can't speak because we're in litigation right now. It's an infraction that they say you made. So you either made the infraction or you didn't make the infraction. Don't give me a backhanded answer. It's either yeah or no, and you stand on that. And the same thing with the NHRA. If he made an infraction, and what I heard, it was like 40 pounds. Some people say it was upwards close to 100 pounds. I don't give a crap. Just tell us what it is and how much he was off, and then we can make an assessment and we can talk about this. So both sides are trash for doing this, and let's not do this in the future when we have infractions on the racetrack that people didn't pass inspection and all these other things. We should not have to wait and guesswork and wait to hear it from the Fox broadcast or somebody else later on at the next race. When you say it, we need to know what the heck's going on and the reason why it happened. Simple as that, from both sides. Don't give me this backhanded crap. It's nonsense, because we as the media can't report things well enough when you don't do that. And then you want to talk about people, making up and having all these little hearsay and all these rumors. Well, you would get rid of all the rumors if you would just speak up and say what the heck's going on.
And there you have it.
Anything to add to that, Dave?
Well, now I don't know specifically what happened, but if you're ever curious of anything, it should be posted on NHRA.com. Maybe they don't want to put it out there. Maybe they don't want to ruffle any feathers. They're not like NASCAR, where NASCAR's like, they don't care if you're Hendrick Motorsports, and they don't care if you are, one of the back markers. Your hood flaps, your hood cowl vents fail. This is your penalty. And it doesn't matter. You're both getting the same penalty. Everybody's getting the same penalty. Now, they did not specifically say what's going on. And, Dugenais, you mentioned, clarify this, clarify that. If you ask NASCAR's stance, Elton Sawyer actually went on there and gave a on-camera statement. And, they were specifically asked, well, what did they adjust? What did they change? And he was very vague about it too. He just said a part that they shouldn't have. He didn't say what. You get Chad Knaus on there, and he's like, well, we get all these single vendor parts, and they fit like crap, and we got to make them work. So we had to adjust it. It wouldn't have worked without it. And is it a performance advantage? Well, they came out and still won the race, even with old hood flaps or cowl flaps. So in the situation of NHRA, if you want to know what happens, you got to go to NHRAracer.com. They don't put them on the main page. Most people don't know that at the Division 4 event, both of the Emmons cars, or the Emmons brothers, were disqualified for various reasons. I mean, if you look at statement of action against participant, Jerry Emmons was disqualified for excessive braking in super stock, and Harvey Emmons was disqualified because he was violating the window net, helmet visor, neck collar, and glove requirements. So, I mean, that's stuff that is out there, but they don't really put it out there. You got to kind of go looking for it.
Well, I mean, I saw it there too, but it just said
the thing with
weight
me,
infraction.
Right. Well, but see, I didn't even see that it said that. If you go to NHRA Racer, it says Mike Salinas was the top fuel winner at blah, blah, blah. Following a post-race evaluation by the tech department, he has been issued a deduction of 20 points for a rules infraction. The penalty is appearable. They didn't even say anything about weight in their release.
Right.
That came out elsewhere. And again, you read different things. Somebody said early on in the weekend, they messed up at the scales, and so that made it messed up the rest of the time, or the team compensated or adjusted for it, probably because it said too much. So they took weight out of the car, and that's how they ran it, which would make sense because they were in the 60s all weekend when everybody else was struggling to get down the track. So if you got a little bit lighter car, it's a little bit easier to manage, a little bit easier to get down through there. The biggest thing that I have is they check weight at the end of every run. Okay. And NASCAR waits to make the winner official until that car gets through post-race inspection. If Mike Salinas was light on the scales March 12th after the final round, why did we wait till March 16th to release a vague statement and take away 20 points? That should have been in the post-race press release from Gainesville. That top fuel dragster should not have even made it to winner's circle without passing that scales and them going, wait a minute, boys, we got a problem here. And if so, why is it only 20 points? Did they only find it after the final round? And that was they basically took around the points that he would have won for that round. Because if he was running all weekend like that, they should have took away 100 points, not just 20, and there's more questions than answers. So I agree. They could be a little bit more specific on what, why, and when they release it. The timing of the release was far too long. I mean, I understand that NASCAR doesn't announce their penalties till Tuesday or Wednesday in the week. That's always been their policy. But you will know that there is an infraction that day. You will know as soon as something fails inspection, a penalty's coming. We don't know what it is, but there's something coming. So in the future, it'd be nice. I mean, I remember back, I think it was Vegas in the mid-2000s, they were all over Don Schumacher for using the Chinese nitro. And they made no bones about pointing that out and what happened. And, Tony Schumacher disobeying Rick Stewart at the 2006 finals in qualifying. They waited till Monday or Tuesday and gave him the $50,000 fine, but no points, so he kept the championship. Steve Torrance, you knew he was going to get in trouble for his top-end scuffle with Cam Ferret. They announced it after the fact, but, you knew it was coming. This was kind of out of left field. I didn't even know about it. Darren texted me and he's like, yeah, you see Salinas got docked points? And I'm like, no, for what? And he's like, his hood flaps. And I'm like, I hate you. What did you really do? Like, come on now.
And to add to that, they had to go find Mike Salinas for the winner's interview. So it's not like they had plenty of time to know this, whether his car was underweight or not, because it took him a while to get up there. I don't even think he knew he had to come up to the tower to give a winner's interview. So they had plenty of time to do that. You know what I mean? And my thing is you're going to have a tech department, then we need to know what's going on, and you need to specify what these things are and why. Because at the end of the day, if that's the case, then really, tech department, it sounds like a joke, and you guys just randomly do whatever. You know what I mean?
Didn't John Force get one a couple years ago for like a blower pulley infraction or something? I mean, this is all stuff that comes out like 5 days later and is like just mentioned in passing, but never like, hey, this what happened,
Right.
And it sucks, but I guess that's.
But Force didn't lose points in that situation. That was
just a monetary fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
it's still an action against a racer. And like I say, I wish there was a way on NHRacer.com to search just the statement of actions, because I think there's a lot more of them that are out there that happen than you realize. That, just scrolling through the second one. So, Les Feist in top dragster, ran second round of qualifying, went 599 below to 6.0, so he was disqualified from the event. Stuff like that comes out. There's a lot of stuff that happens that you're never going to find unless you go onto the racer website, because it's like they don't make it public knowledge, or they feel that people probably don't care, I guess, enough to really get into it too much.
Well, I think I can't really say for NHRA. Maybe it's just of not wanting to bring any negativity to their, to their sport or anything like that. But I think for Mike Salinas' standpoint, Mike Salinas just, the code that he lives by is like, yes, we were assessed this penalty, but, I don't want to bring any negative attention to my race team. We're going to keep it in-house behind the scenes, and we'll handle it behind the scenes and take it from there. I just think that's the way that Mike wants to roll. He's a hard worker.
Okay, but you race in a public professional sport. You can't run behind closed doors. That's just like saying no autographs and no interviews. No, you put yourself out there. You got to be there.
Exactly.
You put yourself in the spotlight. You got to take it.
This isn't like something happened in closed locker room and coach comes out and says, well, we're just going to keep it in house. I'm not going to say what was said, blah, blah, blah. No. You guys are racing in front of people. We're on TV. You want to be a big boy sport. That's part of being a big boy sport. And if things happen, people need to know about it. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I say, it leaves too many questions and answers. Why not money? Why specifically 20 points? Was it just for the final? Was it just like taking that advantage away because he would have potentially lost the finals for that, so we're only penalizing for that round? Where's the thought process? Where do they come up with what they come up with? That those would be the nice things to know, just as fans. But I think that sometimes they think that fans aren't as involved or invested in the sport as what they are.
Real quick, 1 minute, because we gotta get out of here. Appealing. Do you think Mike Salinas appeals? And if he does appeal, do you think he wins it? Let's go with you first, Duchesne. 1 minute.
I don't. I'm going to say that he does, because I think Mike was pretty adamant that it wasn't his fault. So I do think he will appeal, and I do think he probably wins. I think he's right. I really do.
Mm-hmm. And then Mike Clark says, he said, Complus article said that NHRA made a mathematical error in their scale. Mm-hmm. So, that is another dynamic that adds to it right there. And then Nitro Maniac TV Drag File says, yes, agree with Duge and Dave W. The info on the Salinas penalty should have been made public sooner, and then and the fine details not left behind the members. I'm sorry, I have bad eyes, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read
members
this as
paywall.
Members paywall.
Does he appeal it? Does it matter? Whether he does or he doesn't is irrelevant to me, because come Indy, the 20 points ain't going to make or break it.
Exactly.
There's 12 Top Fuel cars that have so far been to both races. That is your 12 countdown drivers. They are going to be at the rest of the events. You are going to have a 12-car Top Fuel shootout for the championship, and 20 points now ain't going to make a bit of difference when we reset everything in Indy. So
True.
appeal it, don't appeal it, it don't matter.
For sure. Any final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here? Start with you, Dave.
I thought it was a great race to cap off the Phoenix legacy, the 38th go around. A lot of memories at Phoenix beyond just the national event level. Like they were saying about John Force running there on match races. If you have one of his John Force Still the One and Inside the Inferno tapes that he put out in the mid-90s, they had some behind-the-scenes footage of one of the match races there. They used to have the Super Bowl drag racing there to open off the season with in combination with winter testing. Those were some big Phoenix events. Just having preseason testing at Phoenix, a lot of big numbers happened in that facility back in January and February from coming into the beginning of the year. It's a big loss for the Southwest drag race fans, for the Arizona drag race fans, and I know it'll be around for a little bit, not on the NHRA level, just with local stuff until they finally do cease operations. But a lot of history at that place. We could probably make a history of Houston, a history of Englishtown, history of Atlanta, and history of Phoenix video, just chock full of stuff. And it's a shame and sad to see it go. Just hope that in the future we build up some of these new facilities and have something to replace it with.
Oh man, let's get into it, because I mean, like you said, they gave it to me in the comments because I kept saying possibly final NHRA Arizona Nationals, but since it is the final Arizona Nationals, I mean, let's talk about it. Shirley Muldowney's final win, 1989. We talked about it. Robert Height, 463. Tony Schumacher, first to 330 miles per hour, 1999. You talk about Kenny Bernstein.
First live cable television finals on TNN in
1992. Yeah. Pat Austin, double up, 1992. Beats his uncle Bucky Austin in the final round of Top Alcohol Funny Car. Takes down Doug Herbert in the final round of Top Fuel in 1992. You talk about who else? Tom Hoover beating Richard Hartman in the final round of 1992.
First win since the 70s at that race.
Kenny Bernstein, Mark Oswald, 1988 in the fall, round number 2, championship on the line, hanging in the balance. Kenny Bernstein, the Budweiser car, gets the win. I mean, so much great history out at Wild Horse Pass. Gary Ormsby has a blowover in testing. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, so much history.
Don Garlett's crashing the car in testing. Randy Anderson getting licensing runs there, putting it into wall. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened at the test sessions even before they got to the national events. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of history behind that place.
Larry Dixon, first win 1995 and last win 2011. My favorite Top Fuel driver of all time. Larry Dixon, first win and last win at Phoenix. We go on and on.
Gary Selzy's second win. I mean, he goes to Top Fuel undefeated coming out there. John Force, I believe, I'd have to look at the numbers. I think he is the winningest driver at Phoenix. I mean, he won dang near everything there was to win there.
I think it's 8 wins at Phoenix. I remember correctly. I think it's 8 all time at Phoenix.
Was it 8 all time?
Yeah, man.
And some of the one-off winners that you had there. Speaking of funny car, who'd he race in the finals here? Let me go back. We're going back to the 80s. First national event, John Collins. First and only funny car win at the Fall Nationals in 85. Mike Dunn picking up a win there. Bruce Larson in 89 on his championship season. How about Dale Paldy and the Over the Hill gang getting In-N-Out Burger there, a win there? I mean,
that was cool.
Going through the list, man, there's a lot of cool stories in a lot of classes.
How about Eddie Hill? Eddie Hill keeping his championship hopes alive.
Eddie Hill winning there. Jack Beckman won there. Sean Langdon won there in the sportsman classes.
Yeah.
A lot of history at that place. First live Friday night qualifying in 1997 on ESPN2. When you guys, I don't know if you remember when they started doing that. ESPN2 was like, we're going to start doing Friday night shows. Phoenix was the first race that got one. And, live qualifying late at night under the lights. A lot of history there.
For sure.
Definitely.
Dejanay, any final thoughts, man, before we get out of here?
For Robert Rocks, he was talking about the weight. There was a lot of people who were late to the starting line in that final, so I wasn't even surprised that even happened to Salinas. They were late coming up to the lanes in the final, so quick turnarounds there. There's been some great racing through the first 2 races of the season. I really hope Pomona is packed. I mean, we all know how California fans are. You got to do is look at the Lakers. Fickle. You're fickle. You don't show up half the time. All you got to do is look at Lakers, Clippers games, look at Dodgers games. These teams are winning, and you guys half show up.
The Lakers are winning.
Yeah, we're not winning right now. Yeah, you got that right. But we all know California fans are fickle. They got plenty of stuff to do. The weather's great. You're out at the beaches or surfing or doing whatever. So I get it. But you gotta fill this place out. And if we can do this and keep this thing going, like I said, this is going to be huge for the sport and its growth and getting more eyeballs, more sponsors to look at what we're doing here and be able to have more car fields, and even the fields that we have, these guys can have more money to be able to be here for all the races, because that's what the goal is for the NHRA. But man, we're off to a great season. I hate to say we obliterate last season, but man, the action has been spectacular.
And since you mentioned fair weather fans out there in California, I wanted to look and see what the forecast is. It's going to be forecasted fast. 63, 66, and 67 as the highs.
No
cloudy,
excuses.
and 44 is the lows. So track should be tight. They should be flying in Pomona.
Oh man, we're gonna have some fun at Pomona next weekend. We're over at In-N-Out Burger. We're gonna see some nitro. I'm ready. And we got the Legends Nitro Funny Cars as well.
With the
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Yep. Legends Nitro Funny Cars too. You know. So
they got the nostalgia funny cars out there as a part of the show.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Nice.
That's gonna be awesome.
How about speaking of that? How about the Fuel Alters at Phoenix?
Oh,
Johnny West going out there.
Johnny West. Yep. And Wineski. Yep. Dylan Wineski. Yep. You know, two great Fuel Alter drivers. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I like that the nostalgia series is getting some love on the big show. I dig it. Mm-hmm. Well, hey guys, I have to get out of here and write this Pro Stock recap. You know, Cameron Caruso gets her first career national event win in Pro Stock. I have to write that for Comp Plus. So, as always, thank you guys for tuning into the special edition of Inside the NHRA. I want to give a special thank you also to Bobby Bennett for allowing me to stream this show on competitionplus.com. Also, what's the correct way to say this? The opinions are not directly expressed. What is the saying? The opinions on the show are not, what's that whole saying? Help me out here. What they say?
What you trying to absolve yourself from anything that I said or Dave W said, because you won't stand up for nothing?
Herein are not reflective of or affiliated with competitionplus.com or American Hot Rod Entertainment.
No, you can say
Darren Williams.
You can say American Hot Rod Entertainment. You can say American Hot Rod Entertainment. That's
I
cool.
said what I said.
No, no. I take pride in keeping it real here on Inside the NHRA. We keep it real. We don't sugarcoat nothing. So I just,
and it is true. That is only my opinion on stuff. Please, all hate mail comes to me, not them.
No, just for the snowflakes in the comments. In case that's all. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. we keep it real here inside the NHRA.
Oh,
so
it's 50 degrees here. I didn't see any snow.
Okay, let's move on. So like that, thank you for tuning into this. Hey, Epping is right around the corner, so I'll just say that Epping is right around the corner. So you know what that means. So
snowmobiles.
You said it, not me. Anyway, next weekend we'll be live from In-N-Out Burger Drag Strip at Pomona, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going live once again to break down the NHRA Winter Nationals. So thank you guys all for tuning into this special edition of Inside the NHRA. We'll see you guys next weekend. Good night, everybody.